Good evening, everyone. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of life? The constant chatter, the pressures, the expectations from others? It seems as though the world is always demanding something from us. But what if I told you that the key to transforming your life isn't found in trying to fix everything around you? What if it's found in focusing on yourself and staying silent for a while? Let me take you back a few years to a time in my life when I was caught up in all the noise. My days were filled with distractions, constant meetings, endless emails, and social media that was pulling my attention in 100 different directions. I was working harder than ever, but it felt like I was stuck in place. No matter how much time I spent trying to achieve, something was missing. The breakthrough came when I made a powerful decision. I decided to focus on myself and stay silent. Now, I'm not talking about physically isolating yourself or retreating from the world, no. What I mean is focusing on your inner world, shutting out the external noise, and giving yourself the space to grow. I started paying attention to my thoughts, my actions, and my intentions without worrying about what everyone else was doing. I started choosing my own path without being distracted by the hustle of others. That's when things started to change. At first, it wasn't easy. The world didn't stop spinning just because I decided to slow down. In fact, it felt like it was speeding up. But I stuck with it. I allowed myself the time and space to reflect, to think, and to understand what I really wanted from life. And little by little, I began to notice a shift. The chaos started to fade, the noise started to quiet, and I began to see things more clearly. It was as if I had been given a new lens through which to view the world, and suddenly opportunities I hadn't seen before were all around me. Let me explain it like this. The world around you, those distractions, those opinions, the pressures, the shoulds and coulds, they're constantly pulling you in different directions. It's easy to get lost in the crowd, to start running in circles, chasing after things that don't even belong to you. But here's the thing. Nothing outside of you can change until you change what's inside of you. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you keep letting the weeds of negativity, judgment, and distraction grow, your garden will never flourish. You have to prune, to silence those external voices and focus on planting the seeds of wisdom, growth, and vision within yourself. When you shift your attention inward, you begin to cultivate that inner garden, and the world around you will begin to reflect that inner peace and strength. I'll tell you a secret. The best time for growth happens in the silence. That's when the real transformation occurs. But the silence I'm talking about isn't about physical stillness. It's about turning down the noise of the world, stopping the endless chase, silencing the judgment, quieting the rush, and giving yourself permission to just be. We're living in an age where everyone is shouting, trying to grab your attention. But if you can learn to tune all of that out and tune into your own inner voice, you'll find that the answers you've been seeking were always inside you. Think about it. When was the last time you had a moment to just sit in silence with your own thoughts? Not distracted by the noise of social media, not worried about what's happening next, but just being with yourself. In that silence, you find clarity, you find direction, you find the answers you've been searching for. It's incredible how often we feel the need to fill every moment with something, but in that space of silence, you connect with your truest self. You reconnect with the core of who you are, not who the world wants you to be, and that is where your true power lies. Silence isn't about being passive, it's about being present. It's about being still enough to hear what you've been ignoring in the noise. And let's be real for a moment. There are so many people out there who are constantly distracted, looking to the next thing to solve their problems. We've all been there. We've all felt that need to keep moving, to keep working, to keep chasing. But I want to challenge you to stop. Not forever, but just long enough to look inward. I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue your goals or dreams, but before you run after anything, run after the wisdom within yourself. The truth is, before you can truly master the world, you must first master yourself. Self-mastery is the ultimate form of freedom, and that doesn't happen by chance. It happens by creating the space to grow. It happens by committing to understanding yourself better than you understand anyone or anything else. You can't lead others until you've learned to lead yourself. You can't teach discipline if you haven't learned it for yourself. The foundation of any lasting success begins in silence. Think about all the great achievers in history, people like Oprah Winfrey, Steve Jobs, and yes, even the Apostle Paul, who spent years in silence, reflecting, learning, and growing. They weren't distracted by the noise around them. They focused on their own development first. And that's exactly what you can do too. I know it's easy to look at other people's success and feel like you're behind or doing something wrong, but I want you to remember this. Everyone's journey is different. And the first step in your own journey is to stop comparing yourself to others. Instead, look inward. Focus on your thoughts. Focus on your actions. Focus on what you can control. It's in that moment of focus, in that moment of silence, where transformation begins. So here's my challenge to you today. Take a moment of silence. Shut out the noise. Focus on your thoughts, your purpose, and your growth. Take that moment to reflect on where you are now and where you want to be. Don't let the world define your worth. You are the one in control of your life's direction. Focus on yourself, and in that stillness, find the power to change your life. I promise you, when you embrace the silence and truly focus on yourself, you will start to see the shifts in your life. Your relationships will improve. Your career will take off. Your personal growth will reach new heights, but it won't happen overnight. It starts with that commitment to yourself. So today, silence the world and begin the powerful journey of focusing on you. Watch how your life changes in ways you never imagined. The world around you, those distractions, those opinions, the pressures, the shoulds and coulds, they're constantly pulling you in different directions. Every day you wake up to a new set of demands, whether from your job, your family, your friends, or society as a whole. Everyone wants a piece of you. Everyone has an idea of what you should be doing, how you should be living, and who you should be. And in all that noise, it's so easy to lose sight of who you are and what you truly want. But here's the thing. Nothing outside of you can change until you change what's inside of you. If you're constantly chasing the expectations of the world, you're only ever going to be reacting to the noise around you. You'll always be at the mercy of external forces, and you'll never feel fully in control of your own destiny. The key to unlocking true change is realizing that it starts from within. The power doesn't lie out there, it lies in here, in the choices you make, and the thoughts you entertain, and the actions you take. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you allow every weed of negativity, every stray thought of doubt, and every external distraction to grow unchecked, that garden will never flourish. It will become overrun with clutter, and there will be no space for the flowers of creativity, success, and peace to bloom. But if you take the time to weed out those distractions, to prune away what doesn't serve you, and to focus on planting seeds of wisdom, gratitude, and growth, your inner garden can flourish. The way you shape your thoughts, the way you choose to focus your energy determines the kind of life you create. We live in a society where we're constantly told to look outward. We're conditioned to measure our success by how much we have compared to others, by how many followers we have on social media, by the job title we carry, or by the car we drive. But I want to challenge you today to shift that mindset. Stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for direction. Stop measuring your life by other people's standards and start measuring it by your own growth. When you shift your focus inward, something incredible happens. You start to understand that the greatest changes in your life come not from external circumstances, but from your internal transformation. It's in your ability to focus on your inner self that you'll find your greatest strength. You'll stop seeking approval from others and start giving yourself the permission to be who you truly are. The more you focus inward, the more clarity you gain. You start to tune into your true desires, your authentic purpose. You realize that life isn't about trying to please everyone around you, but about honoring your own journey and pursuing the dreams that resonate with your soul. And when you align yourself with your true purpose, the world outside begins to change as well. The outside world reflects the inner world. When you cultivate peace, confidence, and focus within, your external circumstances will follow suit. I know it's not easy. I know it's tempting to look to others for answers, to see their success and think, why isn't that me? But remember, everyone's path is unique. Their success isn't meant to make you feel less than. It's meant to show you what's possible when you focus on your own growth. The truth is, the most successful people are those who stopped being distracted by what everyone else was doing and started focusing on their own vision. They honed in on their own passions, their own goals, and they worked relentlessly toward them. So as you go about your day, ask yourself, where is my attention going? Are you constantly worried about what other people think? Are you letting the opinions of others dictate your decisions? Are you letting the pressure of the world around you drown out your own voice? Or are you cultivating the focus and clarity to know exactly where you want to go regardless of the noise? When you make the conscious decision to look inward, to silence the noise around you, you start to realize that the external world will no longer hold the same power over you. You begin to become a creator of your own reality, and that's when you take true control over your life. It all starts with your ability to focus on what's important to you, not what's being dictated to you. So today I urge you to take a step back and examine where your energy is going. Are you constantly distracted by the noise of the world, or are you creating the space to nurture the most important relationship in your life, the one with yourself? Start focusing on your inner world and watch how everything around you starts to fall into place. You have the power to change your life, but it begins with changing the way you focus, the way you think, and the way you act. It's all inside you. You've always had the answers. You've just been too distracted to hear them. So take a deep breath, step back, and start listening to the quiet within you. It's there that the real transformation begins. Now let's talk about silence. It's often misunderstood in today's fast-paced world. People think that being silent means being passive or uninvolved. But I want to challenge that idea. Silence is not about isolation. It's not about shutting yourself off from the world. In fact, silence is where your true power lies. In a world where everyone is shouting for attention, silence is your secret weapon. It's in the quiet moments where your deepest strength is born, where your greatest potential is unlocked. Think about how noisy our world has become. Every minute of every day, we're bombarded by distractions. The phone is buzzing with notifications. The news is telling us to fear everything, and everyone around us is offering their unsolicited opinions. There's a constant pressure to keep moving, to keep talking, to keep doing something. But in all that noise, we often forget how powerful it is to simply stop, to be still, to listen, to be in the silence. Silence is not about disconnecting from the world. It's about connecting to yourself. It's about finding clarity in the chaos and giving yourself the space to reflect and grow. When you embrace silence, you give yourself the gift of awareness. In silence, you can truly hear your thoughts, your heart, your desires, and your fears. And it's only when you hear these things clearly that you can make powerful decisions that align with your true self. When was the last time you sat in complete silence without the urge to check your phone, turn on the TV, or talk to someone? It's becoming increasingly rare, yet it is in these moments of quiet that we tap into our deepest wisdom. When we're constantly surrounded by noise, we lose touch with our own voice. We start to live reactively, letting the world dictate our thoughts, our actions, and our choices. But when we allow ourselves to experience true silence, we give ourselves the chance to choose how we respond. In silence, we regain control. Think about the last time you were really quiet with yourself, when you removed all the distractions and just sat with your thoughts. Did you feel that stillness, that peace? That's the feeling of being present in your own life. And in that stillness, you discover the clarity you need to move forward with purpose. You begin to hear what really matters to you, your true desires, not the ones influenced by others. In that silence, you can see the path ahead, even if it's not clear yet, because you've created the space to trust your own intuition. In a world where we're constantly pressured to perform, to achieve, to be seen, silence feels almost like a radical act. But I want you to think about it differently. Embrace silence not as a retreat, but as a powerful tool for growth. It's the calm before the storm of action, the foundation on which every successful endeavor is built. Silence is where your mind can truly rest, reset, and prepare itself to handle the demands of the world. It's where you find the energy to step forward with renewed strength, focus, and clarity. There is incredible power in silence because it's in those moments of quiet that you actually find the answers you've been looking for. When you stop searching outside yourself and start looking within, you'll realize that all the solutions to your problems were right there waiting for you to listen. When you spend time in silence, it's not about avoiding the world or pretending that everything around you doesn't matter. It's about filtering out the noise so that you can focus on what truly matters. You can't hear your own thoughts when you're constantly distracted. And without that clarity, it's impossible to make the decisions that will lead to growth and success. In the stillness, you find direction. You find peace in the middle of the chaos. People often misunderstand what silence can do. They think it's about doing nothing, about stepping away from the world, but it's actually the opposite. In silence, you are preparing yourself for action. You're making the space to tap into your true self, to hear your deepest thoughts, and to align with your higher purpose. When you return to the world from a place of silence, you do so with greater power, greater focus, and greater understanding. You don't act out of reaction, you act out of intention. It's not about withdrawing from the world, it's about strengthening yourself from the inside out so that when you step back into the world, you do so with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Silence allows you to step away from the noise long enough to recalibrate, to reset your intentions, and to ground yourself in what matters most. Only then can you move forward with true power. The world around you will always be loud, always be full of distractions, but you have the ability to find peace amidst that noise. Silence isn't about avoiding the world, it's about finding your center in it. It's about learning to focus your energy on what truly matters and tuning out the rest. In that silence, you'll hear the call of your purpose, and it will guide you in ways you never thought possible. Here's the truth. Before you can truly master the world, you must first master yourself. I know it sounds simple, but it's one of the most profound truths you can ever learn. We all want to achieve greatness, but here's the catch. The outer world cannot be mastered until the inner world is in control. Without self-mastery, all the achievements you reach will feel hollow because you'll never have the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from aligning your actions with your values and purpose. It's not just about success in the world, it's about success within yourself. When you focus on mastering yourself first, everything else falls into place. Think about the countless people who achieve success in one area of life only to falter in others. They may have built an empire, achieved fame, or gained wealth, but when they look inward, they find themselves empty. Why? Because they didn't first cultivate self-discipline, emotional resilience, and the clarity that comes from focusing on who they are as individuals. They didn't take the time to get to know their core values and build a foundation that could withstand the pressures of life. Success without self-mastery can leave you feeling unbalanced, disconnected, and vulnerable. Self-mastery is about control, but not in the way most people think. It's not about controlling the world around you. It's about controlling your own thoughts, your own actions, and your own reactions. It's about learning to regulate your emotions instead of letting them control you. It's about deciding who you are and what you stand for, and then staying true to that in the face of any challenge that comes your way. Think of all the most successful people you admire, whether they're athletes, entrepreneurs, spiritual leaders, or innovators. They didn't just succeed because they had a great product or idea. They succeeded because they had mastered the art of focusing on themselves first. They knew that true greatness begins with a strong inner foundation. And it doesn't matter what external circumstances they faced. Whether they were confronted with adversity, doubt, or fear, they had the mental and emotional resilience to persevere because they had built that inner strength through years of personal discipline and focus. Self-mastery starts with the simple but powerful decision to take responsibility for your life. You stop blaming the circumstances, other people, or past events for where you are. Instead, you take full accountability for your actions, thoughts, and results. When you take responsibility for your life, you unlock the ability to change it. This is the moment where you stop reacting to everything around you and you start responding with intention. When you focus inward and master yourself, you are no longer a slave to your circumstances. You become the master of your own fate. This doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, far from it. Mastery isn't about achieving perfection, it's about consistently striving for improvement. It's about knowing that the journey is long and filled with setbacks, but still committing to show up every day as the best version of yourself. It's about having the courage to face your weaknesses and transform them into strengths. The process of self-mastery involves deep introspection, learning from mistakes, and continually choosing to evolve into the person you are meant to become. When you focus on mastering yourself, you align your daily habits with your long-term goals. You stop allowing distractions to dictate your time and energy. You start to prioritize the things that matter most. Self-discipline becomes your ally, and you develop the mental toughness to push through challenges and stay focused on what truly matters. You begin to control your thoughts and actions instead of being controlled by them. You stop allowing fear, doubt, or external pressure to steer you off course. As you develop this inner discipline, you also learn to balance your emotions and reactions. Life will always throw challenges your way. There will always be moments of failure, disappointment, and unexpected circumstances. But when you've mastered yourself, you understand that these challenges are temporary. You learn not to let emotions dictate your choices. You become the calm in the storm, not the person who is tossed around by it. This emotional resilience is what allows you to stay grounded and focused, even when things are tough. It's also important to recognize that self-mastery is a lifelong journey. There will always be room for growth. But with every step you take toward mastering yourself, you become more and more aligned with your true purpose. You'll start to see that the most powerful asset you have is your mindset. The ability to choose your thoughts, your attitude, and your actions in any situation. And when you have that control, nothing can hold you back. Self-mastery also creates a ripple effect. When you have control over yourself, you begin to influence the world around you in a way that is positive, intentional, and powerful. You don't need to fight for control. It comes naturally because you've developed the strength to lead by example. People will look to you for guidance because they see the integrity and stability you've built within yourself. Your ability to master yourself will not only lead to personal success, but it will inspire others to do the same. It becomes a cycle of empowerment. And the more you focus on your growth, the more it spreads to those around you. So as you go forward in your journey, always remember this: before you can conquer the world, you must first conquer yourself. Focus on mastering your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. Commit to growth, consistency, and discipline. And know that when you have control over your inner world, the outer world becomes something you can navigate with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Once you've done the hard work of mastering yourself, you'll realize that nothing is out of reach.